dismissed every accomplishment I've made. You've talked about my father. Well, you call me an entitled millennial, I call you a carny succubus, because the dirty secret about you, the dirty secret is you need this generation more than it needs you.
Let's talk about NXT's Collision. Not Collision, I'm lying. AEW. What up, y'all? It's KMV the Sexy Ninja in the place to be for a Paper Saber universe, and this is the New World Podcast, brother. I just got done watching a show, but let's talk about Collision first. That was December 7th, 2024. In Columbus, Ohio, at a con, I think a Comic-Con? I don't know. I know it was a con of sorts. And Tony Khan moved to that venue, smaller, little more intimate, and I will say this. They're moving to smaller arenas. I think that is the best for AEW at this point. And it will feel more personal. It's going to make AEW get that indie vibe back. And I think Tony has something there. Rebuild what AEW was when it started, this massive phenomenon, and now it's just like in mid-range of what it is now. It's very mid. But the thing is, as mid as AEW is, they do produce some really goddamn good matches, and that's what this Collision was. Right, December 7th, 2024, Tony Nigel on commentary. Daddy Magic jumps on later on. But man, we started off with Darby and Commander in the Good League in this Continental Classic. And what I love about the Continental Classic is it provides really great, solid matches. It really does. I was highly impressed with this match. Between these two, because these two, they took some crazy bumps. Of course, Darby's like, let's get a chair so I can take a bump on it. Why not? But Darby gets to win in one hell of a match, man. I'm telling you, this was some solid wrestling here tonight, besides the squash matches, But then we get Renee with Don and Takeshita. Hobbs comes in. He's like, hey, you haven't called me. You are blah, 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 Don Callis, He's like, blah, 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 blah. And Don's like, I'll take care of you. He's like, when will you take care of me? So there's a lot of anger and frustration and something built up in that meaty meat man known as Hobbs. So that is Hobbs and yeah, I'm excited to see where they go with that story. I hate using the word excited. I'm interested in where they're going to go with Hobbs. I like Hobbs. I think Hobbs could be a potential AEW World Heavyweight Champion at some point, like next to Takeshita. We have Willow Nightingale versus Serena. Serena rocking their shirt that says nobody cares. This was brought on by the one and only Dr. Britt Baker, because Serena Deeb comes out with her little flag, and after Britt's match, and Britt Baker goes, I don't care. No one cares. Oh my goodness, that shit was so good. But speaking of Britt Baker, with Ray Phoenix being held hostage by Tony Khan, and Britt Baker demanding they either give her a push or they release her, because let's be honest, their women's division is not, they got talent, but it's like nothing, and it's very frustrating. But Willow and Serena, it was good. It was good for what it was. It was solid. And of course, we get Renee with Thunder Rosa after Willow gets the win. And we get the Mox cult. I think this was the low point of the show. We get Mox and then Orange Cassidy. Then they just beat the shit out of them. And then we go to FTR in the back because they kidnapped Orange Cassidy. And then they're going to use the stupid chemicals again. Until FTR knocked the chemicals out of his hand. I was like, what is it with the chemicals? What? Why? Why are we even using chemicals? I just don't get it. Then we go into a Blue League match, Okada versus Kyle Fletcher. This was awesome. I'm not going to lie. Okada, I don't like that people are hating on Okada, and I listen to Jim Cornette pretty frequently. Jim Cornette has provided some really great stuff for my ear holes. But he's also a little harsh on some guys that I really love, like Okada, and I think he's very talented. And this match with Kyle Fletcher is awesome. Kyle Fletcher's ranking up them numbers, though. I think he's at 9 points right now. But Kyle Fletcher, so good. Looking like Randy Orton. Beast Mortos versus Squash. You kind of got it. Beast gets the win. Then we get Renee with Top Flight, Leo and Action. They're all frustrated. They're like, we want to move up in the division. We need tag titles. Everything is boiling to these teams falling apart and just fighting each other. Yeah, this whole squad of sorts. There's been fluctuation, and I totally forgot these guys were a thing. Totally forgot they were a thing. Then we go to Mina versus Emmy. It was okay. Mina for the win. Thunder Rose is watching. Then we get Mariah and Mina package. They are fighting for the championship at Winter is Coming, which is basically Dynamite. You know how Tony loves his gimmicks to his shows, especially around the holiday season. Then we get Renee with Daniel Garcia and Mark, and they're buddies because they have the match next in the Blue League. And I was very surprised by this. This was a fun match. Daniel Garcia versus Mark. Like I said, solid wrestling tonight. And Mark got the win. I was like, woohoo! You know, I thought he was just going to be jobbing the whole time in this tournament. But no, Mark Briscoe got the win. Rightfully so. I think Mark Briscoe deserves the world. Like we all should say. Mark Briscoe. But overall, I got to say, solid show. Very heavy on the awesome wrestling side, especially with the Continental Classic. I got to give the match of the night to Darby and Commander. That was awesome. And yeah, I give it a solid 4 out of 5 for Collision, December 7th, 2024. Tony Nigel on commentary in Columbus and at the Con Worlds, and December 20th and January 5th, Wrestle Dynasty. I could not think of the name to save my life the other day. So that was it. Tell me what you thought of Collision. And now let's go flip it off into notes. And we're going to talk about some WWENXT Deadline. The PLE that happened this weekend. The Iron Survivors matches. Woohoo! I just got done watching this show. I literally, at the main event, in this whole show, I was popping and hopping and blah, 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 I can't even talk. Because we started off with the men's Iron Survivor match, and we started off with Wes and Javon to start us off, and the countdown begins, 25 minutes. I love this concept of this match, because I'm just like, it's all timed. You know what I mean? Like, you're racing against the clock, and it makes the pace of the match even better. But, Wes and Javon started off, and then we get Nathan, and then we get Ethan, and who's going to replace Eddie Thorpe? Oh, Ava, you did these guys dirty. You did them dirty, man, because here goes, Oba Femi, looking like $1 million, man, and then this match is just freaking awesome. Whoever gets the most pinfalls at the end of the 25 minutes, but guess who won? That's right, Oba Femi. We're getting Oba Femi's moving up, and he's gonna face Trick at New Year's Evil, and he's gonna whoop that Trick Oba Femi. Oh my gosh, man! I mean, this match is awesome. Nathan got his nose busted. Poor Ethan Page got. There's a great spot where Oba's in the penalty box, and then Ethan has to go to the penalty box, and he just gets his ass kicked. Great match, man. But Oba Femi's our Iron Survivor, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna main event the women's Iron Survivor, right? Oh, please!" And they do. Then we go into the NXT Underground match: Lola versus Jada. And in my picks and predictions, I wanted Ethan to win the Iron Survivor, but I'm okay with Oba. Now that Oba was in there, I picked Jada to win, but no, that was not the case. I was wrong for most of the show, but man, these two beat the crap out of each other. Lola Vice is undefeated in the NXT Underground. Where do we go to next? Maybe a last woman standing. Something to finally burn off this feud, because I know it's not done between Jada and Lola. Then we get Nathan and Axiom backstage. You know, they got their tag team titles on the line next against No Quarter Catch Crew. I was wrong. I thought this team was going to fall apart. No Quarter Catch Crew was going to get the win. Nope. So, and then we had a little backstage scuffle with Javon Evans and Wes Lee, so we're building that there. But yeah, the NXT tag team match was really good. NXT championship match was freaking awesome. I picked Ridge to win. I don't know why I did that, but Trick, he's grown on me. I remember when I first was introduced to Trick, when he was basically Melo's bodyguard, and I was like, hey, this guy has something. And then when he finally got into his own and whooped that Trick in such a crazy feud with Carmelo Hayes, he put on one hell of a banger, folks, at this match. Him and Ridge too, man. There was a crazy spot. I was like, oh, shout out to Mick Foley, where Trick runs and he puts his head in between the ropes. It's like, ah! I was like, good old Mick Foley. Rope hanging there. That's awesome, man. Then we have Ethan backstage. He doesn't know. Trick retains, but Ethan's backstage. He's like, I'm doubting myself and this and that. It took me only 4 matches to get that championship, and and I'm just feeling bad for Ethan Page. But man, he'll get back up because it's supposed to be NX Me. Then we have Ava backstage and Tiffy, because she is from Minneapolis. She is a Vikings fan. She has some inspired gear. The last pay-per-view, or was it the last pay-per-view, last show? It's something like that. But she's a Vikings. That's just where she's from. And she's like, I can cash in anytime I want. I was like, no, Tiffy, you need to go after the main titles. Don't go back to NXT. Please. Now, the women's Iron Survivor match, I will say hands down the match of the night. The women are killing it. We started off with Julia, my girl Ren. Oh, Ren Sinclair. So good, man. I had so much fun with this match. And then here comes Sol, and Sol has to be the MVP of this match. Sol Ruka is just a delight. I don't want to sugarcoat it. Sol Ruka is so incredible. The spot she did where she did the flippy flip over the ropes, and then she's, that Soul Snatcher. Everything about Sol Ruka is awesome. Julia and Stephanie coming in last, and Zarya, like, all these women freaking killed it. Even Ren got a pin, and I jumped up for joy because I like Ren Sinclair. I like all of these women, but we have to have one winner. And man, it was back and forth, and Julia got the win. Julia was pinned in this match by Zarya, but Stephanie was the only one. No one pinned Stephanie, and Ren Sinclair got pinned most of the time by everybody else. Soul got a win as well, a pin and everything like that. But Julia celebrating, it was awesome, man. And then the confetti and the everything coming down, just such a delight of a show. I enjoyed it. I gotta say, out of both shows, Deadline takes the cake, and that women's Iron Survivor match was the shiznit with a capital S, boy. So that's it. That's all. Thank you for joining me to listen to me rant about some good old pro wrestling. Tell me, what was your show, Collision or Deadline? I got to pick Deadline all the way. So like and subscribe, share it with your grandma, share it with your grandpa, share it with the bum down at Walmart. I am KMB, the Sexy Ninja. And remember that the New World Podcast is for life, brother.
And Zarya just dropping Julia. Now just going to snatch and drop Ren Sinclair. Soul coming in. Got caught with a